I've always believed that pain was temporary, that suffering had a rhythm, a beginning, and an end. But I was wrong. Sometimes pain becomes a place you get trapped in, and you never truly leave. My name is Andy, and what I'm about to tell you is not a story. It's a memory etched into my body and my mind like a scar that will never heal. It began in 2019, the year my nights turned into a war zone. I had a hiatal hernia, a condition where part of your stomach pushes through the diaphragm into your chest. Doesn't sound too terrifying, does it? But you don't know the endless burning, the choking acid rising in your throat, the twisted, sleepless nights where I'd stare at the ceiling for hours, waiting for the pain to end or morning to come, whichever happened first. I tried medications, diet changes, sleeping upright. Nothing helped. Eventually, I found myself in one of the country's top hospitals, sitting across from a surgeon who calmly explained that laparoscopic surgery wouldn't work in my case. My hernia was too advanced. Open surgery was the only option. I nodded, heart heavy but resolute. At least this would be the end of the torment, I thought. The night before surgery, I couldn't sleep. Not from fear, but from a strange calm. I'd made peace with it. I kissed my daughters and my wife that morning. I still remember their sleepy faces and the way my wife clutched my hand just before they wheeled me away. Inside the pre-op room, I was given something they called a neuromuscular blocking agent, a paralytic. It felt like my body slowly slipped away from me. I could no longer move, not even blink. But my mind was still there, floating inside this frozen body. They brought me to the operating table. I was supposed to be given general anesthesia next, to knock me out, make me unconscious through the ordeal. I remember the coolness of the table, the overhead lights like pale suns glaring down at me. A nurse said something softly. "Here we go. You'll be asleep in just a moment." Then the anesthesia came. I waited for the darkness, but it didn't come. My body was paralyzed, but my mind, it didn't go under. It felt like I was drifting, like I'd had a couple drinks, a haze on my senses, but I was still there, fully conscious. After a few minutes, then I heard the voice of the surgeon. Scalpel. And that's when it began. The first cut felt like liquid fire slicing across my abdomen. I wanted to scream, to flinch, to run, anything, but I couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't even blink. The pain was so real, so raw, it was blinding. I could hear every word spoken above me. Casual conversation about dinner plans, the surgeon talking about his new car, someone laughing about a colleague's mistake. They were dissecting me like I was a lab frog, while I screamed inside my skull. Every layer they cut through, skin, muscle, flesh. I felt everything. At one point, I think I blacked out for a second. Not unconscious, just shock. My heart thundered in my ears, but no one noticed. How did they not notice? I just don't know. My vitals must have been going insane. My blood pressure, my heart rate, something should have told them I was still awake. I heard one nurse say, "The hernia is bigger than we thought." I felt the pressure as they moved deeper, manipulating my organs like clay. Have you ever been punched on the stomach? It felt like that. And even worse when you feel their hands were inside of you, touching and slicing your internal organs. Oh God, I don't know how to explain further. Minutes passed like hours, every moment an eternity of agony and helplessness. The pain was so intense that I'd rather die. It was not a quick pain, it was constant pain. And then, wait, why's the dosage not right? Someone said. Her voice was sharp. "Kelly, this isn't enough." The room fell silent. Panic stirred in the air like a storm cloud. Another voice barked, "Check the dosage again. He's responding to stimuli. See his eyes." "Damn it," someone shouted. Finally they realized. I could hear chairs scraping, gloves rustling, a rising chorus of fear or panic in their voices. And then, like a curtain dropping, the world finally went dark. I guess they gave me the correct anesthesia dosage. I did not know what happened after that. I awoke in recovery room. Sometime later, it felt cold. My chest burned. My throat felt like sandpaper. And worse than any of that, I remembered everything. Once they confirmed I was awake and fine, they transferred me to my room. My wife was beside me. I looked at her trying to say something, but all I could do was cry. She leaned in and whispered, "I know." They told me what happened. The horror in her voice was worse than anything I'd heard in that operating room. She told me the hospital admitted there had been a complication. That's what they called it. A complication. Over the next few days, the same doctors who had joked while slicing me open came to speak with me. Even Kelly was there. They looked smaller than before, fragile, avoiding my eyes. The hospital's management came next, along with words like trauma, counseling, and restorative measures. They offered therapy, medication, apologies wrapped in formal legal language. They even asked me to sign few documents, to which I declined nicely and said I will need to look into it properly later. But how do you fix something like that? I felt violated in a way I didn't know was possible. My body was carved open, while my mind was screaming inside a prison made of flesh. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard them again. Their voices, their jokes, the sounds of metal on flesh. I got a lawyer after discussing with my family. The hospital didn't want a public scandal. Their reputation was their lifeblood. They agreed to settle, quietly, efficiently. The money didn't matter. It wasn't justice. It was hush money. And I took it, not because I forgave them, but because I was too tired to fight. Going to court and lengthy court case will drain more emotional and willpower out of me. I still have the scar. It runs across my abdomen, pink and jagged. But the real scar, the one no one sees, is deeper. I don't sleep like I used to. I still jolt awake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, feeling that phantom blade opening me again. Some nights, I wonder if I ever really woke up, because part of me is still there, in that sterile, cold room, paralyzed, aware, screaming, and no one hears.